Brother Nihad Awad, who is the Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of Islamophobia is not new to you. If it's new to any one of you, raise your hand. I don't see any hand. So Islamophobia is a challenge. Islamophobia is an epidemic. What's the definition of Islamophobia? There are many definitions, but the truth of the matter, Islamophobia is an irrational fear of Islam and a propaganda done by those who either fear Islam or hate Islam. So speeches and actions that lead to fear-mongering against Muslims and in the public is considered Islamophobia. Islamophobia is not new. Islamophobia is an ancient phenomenon. It's been there for centuries, since the start of Islam. There is fear, there is misconception, there is propaganda, and there are efforts to demonize and distort the facts. So we know that. However, Islamophobia is a new term for an old phenomenon. And we feel it, we know it, it manifests itself in many, many ways. In just short time, I will play a short video for 2 minutes. So when it's ready, I need to get a cue. And just to remind you what kind of statements and actions and suggested statements and actions are done towards Muslims in general and Muslims in America in specific. So if the DVD is ready, I'd like to just let you watch it for 2 minutes, then I'll give you my analysis of what is it and how we should deal with Islamophobia. Ibrahim, is it ready?
Does this look like a terrorist or this?
Rising Islamophobia in our nation endangers the rights of American Muslims and creates unjustified fear and hostility towards Islam.
I believe in racial and ethnic profiling.
There are people who literally are willing to blow themselves up like this guy did to commit jihad because they believe in a bigger cause. And that cause is what they want to do to us. They want to destroy Western democracies. They want to bring down America. They want us to live by their rules.
Anti-Islam rhetoric has become more explicit and more extreme since the 9/11 attacks.
Unfortunately, we have too many mosques in this country. There's too many people who are sympathetic to radical Islam. We should be looking at them more carefully.
Anti-Islam views expressed by elected officials can negatively impact the ability of American Muslims to engage in the positive civic participation that is every American's right.
Admit that Islam is not a religion.
That's a short version of it.
Does this look like a terrorist or this?
Rising Islamophobia in our nation endangers the rights of American Muslims and creates unjustified fear and hostility towards Islam.
I believe in racial and ethnic profiling.
Okay. Thank you. I think you've seen many of these statements. Some of these politicians, candidates for public office, self-described and self-styled experts on terrorism, who are trying to stir up and stoke anti-Muslim hatred and ignorance in the United States for their political reasons. and for their convenience. So we could have shown you more and more, but this is just a reminder that Islamophobia affects the lives of people. Islamophobia affects the well-being of many citizens, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. The manifestation of Islamophobia, as you have seen, leads to an active acts of discrimination, hate crimes, destruction of properties, killing of innocent people, bad and counterproductive policies that affects people here and people abroad. But also, we Muslims have to look at why Islamophobia is increasing sharply in the past few months and years. We cannot pretend that this is done in isolation. We need to analyze it and think about it. Islamophobia became a strong manifestation of hatred and misconception about Islam, especially after 9/11. After 9/11, there have been at least 2 wars, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. There are disturbances in Pakistan, in Yemen, in Somalia, and so on. In the background of all these events, there is always a reaction and negative effects in the home country like the United States. Soldiers are being killed, innocent people are being killed on both sides, and people react with emotions and passion against those who appear to be representative or linked to those societies or the enemies. So Muslims in America and Muslim Americans get the brunt sometimes of this backlash. Also, we have people who have vested interest, who fear the growth of Islam. And these are small organizations and institutions who get to the airwaves, and they have access and they are influential to manipulate the public opinion towards Muslims and Islam in the country and around the world. They have vested interest to see a clash. They have vested interest to stop the growth of Islam and development of Muslims in the United States. They're not secret about it. They write about it. Whenever they have a chance on television, they make it known. They make proposals. They put proposals in government, in Congress, and they write editorials, and they save no opportunity to stop the growth of Islam in the United States. The other factor is you have a pro-Israel organizations who try to hijack the decision of the United States to put the Muslim world on a continuous track of clash with the Muslim world. And they save no opportunity by defaming, distorting the reality of Muslim Americans, their organizations, institutions, and leaders. And importantly, there are acts by some Muslims, misguided Muslims, with twisted understanding of our beautiful faith, who commit acts of arrogance, crime, and terrorism unjustly in the name of Islam. And these lead the news even today, Christmas Day, the second news item on national television, suicide bombing in Pakistan. We cannot underestimate the negative impact and effect of this bloody news on the situation and the perception of Muslims here and worldwide. Brothers and sisters, this is not a presentation or a session on how to become victims. How can you be a problem? This session is about looking at the problem responsibly and what we can do to become part of the solution. Number one, I would like you to always know and feel and show it that there is nothing that we Muslims should apologize about our Islamic faith. There is nothing. Our faith is complete and beautiful. We are proud of it, we live it, and we love it. And we will not allow any mass amount of misinformation to discourage us or alienate us or make us not proud of this beautiful faith. This is fact number one. Second, a message to our young Muslims. This faith is the faith of all humanity. It's God's message to humanity. when it's understood